Welcome back to the ranch. This is your host Brian, and today we're going to play some Slime Rancher. You may be here because you saw Slime Rancher in free, and I'm here to tell you that it's very, very true. Slime Rancher is actually free right now. Yeah, 100% free. So if you go to, and I'll link it down below in the description, if you go to the Epic Games store, you should be able to download it for free. That's it. No catch. But since many of you will be playing for the first time, I thought it'd be a good idea to go ahead and give an idea of what the early things to do on the ranch are. And hey, it's always fun to start a new file anyways, right? So the first thing that happens when you spawn in is that you'll actually see your house here. Wow, it's pretty cute. It's pretty small. It's got a fun shape and it's got a slime painted on it. I actually don't know how that got there, but you do have a little bit of mail, so you can go inside. And the nice thing about your house is you can sleep until the morning here. So if you need to pass time, this is a great way of doing it. And look at that little stuffed slime in the background. He's perfect. Starmail, Rise and Shine. This is just Casey talking about things because, well, that's plot. And the 7Z Corporation, they give you stuff for money. Basically. But we're going to go ahead and get on with it. One of the first things you're going to see is that you do have one corral. It comes with a corral. That's pretty nice. Corrals are things that you put slimes into. The slimes, when you feed them, grab a carrot real quick. What are you guys doing? These you can't eat rocks. Rocks are not edible. All right, so we're just going to, and the pink slimes eat everything. So let's suck up a chicken here too. There we go. They'll eat everything. Look at that, a hen. A hearty chicken bred to be twice as tasty. How about that? So all you have to do to feed a slime is make sure that they will actually eat it. Pink slimes will eat everything, so that's pretty easy. There's meat, vegetables, and fruit, which you can find in various places that I'll show you in a bit. But first, we're going to feed this guy because he's hungry. I'm playing with a remote currently, but it's just left click or right trigger. If you're using a remote, look at this guy. And it gives you little poops. The little poops are plorts, and plorts, hey, you've acquired a slime port. Plort. I can't speak today, geez. So you can run on over here to the plort market and go over it once or twice because you're not used to playing anymore. And just like that, you get a little bit of money. And new bucks are used to purchase all sorts of things. But most importantly, the Vac Pack Upgrades here. These are going to come in super duper handy, especially the jetpack, which we might get to today. I'm not. Hey, don't push me around. Look at this little. Look how happy he is to be pushed around. What a silly little guy. Oh, we got a chickadee. Okay, but yes, I'm getting distracted by the game. The Vac Pack Upgrades are what you're going to spend a lot of your bucks on at first, and they do things like increase your health, increase your power, and increase how much you can carry, which carrying more stuff is always good. So I'm going to round up a few slimes here, and we'll go ahead and get them in the pen. And hopefully they'll stick in there. When they're hungry, they'll sometimes try to jump out. So to counter that, you can build high walls or you can build an air net, which we don't have enough money for either of those. So we're going to go ahead and try to get a little bit of new bucks here first. So a small note before we actually go off and about and start adventuring around here. If you intend to just kind of go at a relaxed sort of pace and sort of go at your own speed, then I would probably skip this one because I'm going to be showing a lot of things that'll get you pretty far ahead. But if you're trying to adventure out there on your own, then this may not be for you. But you'll see a lot of general tips that'll help get your ranch off the ground. And hey, who doesn't like starting with a bigger ranch? So there's these little informational glyphs that you can click on too that tell you a little bit about the story in the game. I'm not going to read it verbatim because, well, you can read it as well. But it's a sort of neat way of telling the story because a lot of the story in the game doesn't happen in real time per se. A lot of it happens through letters and interactions with the environment, so it's kind of cool. In this little patch right here, we've got some carrots that we can suck up. Give me these carrots. Sometimes when they're not quite, like when they're actually ready, they'll pop out of the ground. But when they're almost ready, you can basically just, you can pull them from the earth with your mighty Vac Pack. Also, these boxes are scattered around the map. You can throw them against a solid object, break them open, and they'll have weird stuff like a chicken that this slime just ate. Why are you so happy about that? Also, while we're rolling along here, you're going to see these weird-shaped pogo fruit. Pogo fruit's good because it is the most accessible fruit that you get early on, and certain slimes will only eat fruits. So, thankfully, our pink slimes will eat just about everything, so suck up all the food that you can get as you're adventuring around here. You can see that it's kind of becoming dusk and nighttime. You'll actually see some different slimes that come out during the nighttime, like the phosphor slimes. Like I said, some of them will only eat fruit. So I'm not going to suck up these phosphor slimes for now. Their plorts are worth more, but you have to keep them in a dark area. So not something that we currently have. So we're going to skip over them for now. You're also going to see some of these largos here. So if a slime eats a plort that's not its own, because that'd be weird anyways, boom, it turns into a largo like that. And apparently they're very happy to be like that. When they turn into largos, oh my largo, there's just more to love. When they turn into largos, besides being super duper bouncy, woo! Oh, and well, here's the Thar lesson. Okay, so when a largo eats a plort that's not its own, it turns into the Thar. The Thar can actually hurt you, and I'm going to do my best to stay out of its way here. And especially while you don't have a lot of health early on, yeah, take that Thar. Especially while you don't have a lot of health early on, it's kind of a good idea to just try to avoid these guys. But I will show you how to defeat them real quick. As it looks like I'm sprinting away, but I need to get some stuff first. So you'll see these little spring wells. And I totally forgot, we don't have the Vac Pack upgrade for water, so we actually can't beat them right now. So we're going to do the next best thing. We're going to run away. We're going to run away. Don't look back. Oh, God. Okay, so that whole area got infested with tar, but you know what? It happens sometimes. It happens sometimes. It's okay. It's all right. In this next little area, you're going to see some tabby slimes. They only eat meat, though. So that means they will only eat chickens. Look at them. They're pretty cute, though. They're cats that are slimes. I love them. I might be biased, but the tabby slimes might be my favorite. So you're just gonna come with me. We're gonna take a couple of you guys home. As you go along, you'll see tons of different kinds of largos that appear in front of you. Not to worry, as long as they don't turn into tar, everything's fine. Now, without some keys, this is about the furthest that you can explore to get the majority of supplies. There's still other places that you can go, but to get to the other actual areas of the game, like the Indigo Quarry, you're gonna need a key. And to get a key, we're gonna have to go back to that big slime that you saw earlier and pop them wide open. But for now, we're gonna head back to the ranch because we've got a fair bit of stuff. Just to kind of show you the danger of the tar, I'm gonna let him hit me a little bit just to show you. So they'll do 20-30 damage a chunk, so you don't want to be hit by them too much. Like I said, especially early on when you don't have a lot of health, that can be dangerous. So you're also going to see these little map beacons as you're going along. These are super handy to press, because when you do, bada bing, it reveals your map. Wow. So if you ever get lost, you can just press down on the D-pad if you're using a Xbox controller. I think it's down on the D-pad if you're using a PlayStation remote. But if you press down, then you can actually see all the individual areas that you're going, which is nice because the game gets pretty big after a time. And I definitely said down. I pressed down before I pressed right. Sorry about that. If you press right on your D-pad, on your game pad of choice, you should be able to bring up the map and be like, wow, I'm actually not lost for once. Yeah, I'm not lost. Something else handy that you can do is when you've actually collected a lot of food, this first area actually has a huge amount of pink slimes that just keep spawning. So you can suck up the plorts that are available on the ground, and you can just kind of feed them in the wild. Would you call this free range slimes? I don't really know about all that, but you can feed, Oh, there's a lot more than a lot more than I expected. But yeah, you can just feed them as is here, and you don't have to put them in the pen. And then a bunch of them won't escape without you having to do a bunch of upgrades early on. Pretty handy. Now, something you'll see on the, see, there it is, loading market prices. Sometimes what happens with the plort market is that the actual plorts will go up and down in value. So if you see the green arrows, it means it's up, and if you see it in red with a down arrow, that means that it's down from its base value. This little dash mark just means that it's at its base value. So you can see from the plorts that we can get here, so the phosphor and the tabby and the rock slimes, those are all kind of the base ones that you can get without exploring too far out. So hopefully, after a round or two of collecting some more plorts, we'll be able to upgrade the ranch a little bit, and we'll be able to explore a little bit further on. A quick tip, by the way, you can actually hold down the right trigger when you're shooting stuff out, so you don't have to hit it multiple times, and the speed will actually scale up. So you can just hold it down, and you can shoot 16 pogo fruit into your corral, because why not, right? They seem happy about it. Now, this is just personal preference, but the first thing that I would probably do is make this high wall. You can put the air net on it, but the air net's a little bit more expensive, and the high walls basically serve the same purpose, which is to keep these slimes inside. That way, even if they're hungry, like if you go and adventure out, your slimes are going to get hungry if you don't feed them, even if they look happy now. And when they're hungry, they, for some reason, gain the ability to jump very, very high. So the double walls prevents them from actually escaping if they do get hungry. However, this doesn't mean that you can stuff 100 of them in there. I've tried, trust me. You can put, reasonably, you can put in 20, 30 before they actually start to literally stack on top of each other and jump out. So you usually want to try to keep it to around that, and it's a little bit more manageable anyways, because once you get some upgrades on these, like the automatic plort collector and the automatic feeder, 30 slimes is pretty reasonable, and it's a little bit easier to manage in case you ever want to, I don't know, change out the type of slimes that you had in a corral, for instance. What happened to those pink slimes? I don't know. I just turned my head for a second and they all disappeared. Go figure, right? But you know what? These tabby slimes look pretty happy, so we're going to go ahead and make some largos. All you have to do to make a largo is shoot a plort. That is not their type, and they'll eat it. Kind of weird. But they will turn into largos, and then they will have the characteristics of both of those slimes. So it's especially handy to mix them pretty much anything with a pink, because that means they'll eat anything after that. And they'll drop both plorts when you feed them. So let's go ahead and get some transformation magic happening here. This is some high-level science occurring, as you can see. Bloop. Oh man, this might be one of my favorite largos also. They just look so happy and cat-like. Now, the issue with largos is that because they are so big now, they can almost escape if they bounce on each other, so that's something to watch out for. We're going to feed them real quick, and then we should be okay to do a little more exploring. Now, do be careful that you don't let any other plorts in here, because if these largos, like I said earlier, eat a plort, then they're going to turn into tar, and then you'll have a tar infestation, and the entire corral will get eaten. You're just going to have a bad time. Don't do it. As you can see, the tabby plorts are actually worth a little bit more right now, so it's a good thing to definitely farm those. Now, your slimes can only eat every so often. You can't just keep on stuffing them full of food. But after you wait for a time, they should be ready to eat again. And if you leave a little bit of food on the ground like this, get out of here, slime. I'm trying to talk. If you leave a little bit of food on the ground, they'll actually eat it as they get hungry. So it's fine to leave a little bit of food in there if you're going to go, I don't know, on some wild jetpack adventure or something. The other upgrade that I would probably go... The other ranch item I'd probably go ahead and get is the garden. So the garden lets you plant one of whatever you put in, and then after a certain amount of time, it'll grow more of that item. Pretty handy. So we're going to grow pogo fruit here because... who wants to grow carrots? And there's our little... I say little. It's pretty chonkin'. Look at this thing. This is our little pogo fruit tree, and all it needs is some time to grow. Now, what's the best way to pass the time? Adventuring in the game. What's the second best way to pass time? Let's go to sleep, obviously. So we're going to sleep until morning, and we slept like 7 minutes. B, why are you smiling about this? All right, we got to sleep a little bit more. So if you actually sleep until morning, as soon as it turns 6, you will sleep until the next day. This can be handy for forwarding time, but you do want to be careful because your slimes get very, very hungry during this time. They're very unsatisfied, as you can see. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't be angry with me. Now, once you've waited a little bit, you'll be able to collect more pogo fruit than you can currently hold once this tree has fully blossomed. Now, if you have more than 20 fruit, which is all you can carry in a single slot, then you can go ahead and feed your slimes. You can put it on the ground. I mean, stack it in a corner if you want, I guess. The nice thing is that they don't decay for a while, so even if you leave these on the ground for a little bit, they're fine for a bit, but after a few hours in-game, they will turn to dust, so don't leave them hanging around for too long. Alright, so now we do have enough cash for our first upgrade. Now, I would suggest building out your ranch a little bit more first. I'd probably build out here, I'd probably build an incinerator to burn all of my enemies. I'd probably go ahead and build another corral, and then I'd do the upgrades on this one so you can auto-feed and auto-collect their plorts to make things a little bit easier for yourself. Don't jump too high. Don't stop trying to escape. Putting another corral here means that you can have more largos, more pink slimes, whatever you want, really. And then the fourth plot over here, I'd either do another garden, or you could do a coop if you're going to specifically only do a slime that eats meat. So if you're only going to do tabbies right here, for instance, then you would go ahead and do a coop, drop a chicken in there, drop a rooster in there, and you're good to go. The dash boots. I almost wanted to get the dash boots because they make you run really good, but that's not the upgrade that we're getting. And like I said, this is not the upgrade that I would suggest, but we're going to do it so we can carry more stuff. Tank booster. Science allows you to... science, we did it. Now we can hold more stuff. Look at that. With the deft explanation of how science works, we are able to now carry 30 things in one slot. So the reason we're doing this is because we're about to go on a small adventure. Alright, so we're back in the dry reef, and this is right outside the main ranch. Like I said, if you just go across the broken little bridge area here, we'll see that big slime in the distance. That's where we're going. You can drop down right away, or you can go up and around. It doesn't particularly matter, I think, but we're going to drop down. Bloop. And be careful to not go too close to the sides of the bridge. And you're going to find one big, happy, smiling Grotto. So, this guy will actually eat everything. Why do we want him to eat stuff? Because he has a very special item that we need. So we're gonna... It's like he's waiting for food. We're gonna oblige him and go ahead and start feeding him. I don't remember if it's 40 here, but you can see, by the way, as you start feeding him, he gets bigger. And he still seems to be pretty happy about it. Like, ah, yes, stuff me to the brim. Oh, he's looking pretty chonkin' right now. Oh, he won't... Okay, he says he'll eat everything, but he won't eat the chickadees. Now, of course, I knew that I would never feed a small chicken to a slime. That would just not be right. And just like that, we've gotten our key. Yeah, that's the item we were actually looking for so that we can continue to adventure. The interesting thing about when they do pop is that they drop seemingly random things. Like, you never know what you're going to get in these. Like, we just got a heartbeat, which the heartbeats don't even grow in the dry reef, so you don't know what you're going to get with the boxes sometimes. Now, for those of you that get a little bit curious, if you actually push to the outside bounds of the map, you're going to find some special kind of treasure. Now, you'll need upgrades to actually open these, but ta-da, treasure pods. This is actually, wow, this is a level 3 treasure pod. To open these treasure pods, you're going to need an upgrade, which doesn't come until much, much later in the game. But if you happen to see these pods, just know you can open them, but you'll need a special upgrade first. If you're curious about finding all the fun items that are inside of these treasure pods, I will also link down below where you can find pretty much all of the pods in the game. And with that behind us, now that we have a key, and since we're pretty much already here, we're going to go through a spooky cave. And Hobbs is going to tell us something. It's a cave. Thank you, Hobbs. So you're going through the cave, you will see some feral slimes here. Watch out, they're very angry. I don't know why, it's probably grumpy because they need to eat something. So if you do feed them the food that they like, that one's still angry, there we go. If you feed them the food that they like, they will stop being so angry. That's it, that's the secret. If anyone's angry, just give them food. Now you can keep on making your way downtown through this cave. And you actually don't have to feed them at all. You can just continue running your way through if you're brave or you're fast. Gotta be fast if you're brave. So now that you have your slime key, you can actually open up this gate. Now this is just one gate. There are multiple gates in this game. You're gonna need multiple keys, which means you're gonna need to pop multiple Grottos. Thankfully, there are locations for all the Grottos and all the slimes that I will also link down below. Open the door. It's a slime. It's a door. And just like that, we've made it into the Indigo Quarry. Wow, all that remains of a mining project that quickly went bust. I wonder what they were mining here. Or they were mining and they're like, oh wow, there are slimes here. So we've got some kind of objectives for slimes that we want to get here, but there are a couple things to note. First of all, the boom slimes. They explode. They're worth a lot, but they explode. It's good to suck these dudes up and combine them with something else because, well, you don't want... It's harder to manage slimes that only eat meat, honestly, because then you gotta keep a separate coop, and it's just a pain in the neck. So I think it's easier to mix them into Largos. It just means you can't keep as many in a cage as once. And like I said, you'll find a number of Grottos throughout here. This is the rock Grotto. He's very big, very spiky, very happy. I'm going to feed him the carrots that I have because, hey, why not? Might as well, right? And these, I think they take 50 of each to open. But this, if you're going to pop one, this is a really good Grotto to pop, because underneath him, there's a teleporter that leads back to your ranch, which is really handy. While you're in this little main cave, you definitely want to pick up the little map icon. I love that it's a slime. It's so happy. And boom. The nice thing about the map is that it actually marks out where the Grottos are too. So that's something that can help you keep track of things, because like I said, the game's kind of big now. It is much larger than when it first started, so the game is kind of big. So in this next little area, besides trying to get a treasure pod right in front of your face, if you jump up on these, just let me jump up on these rocks, don't make me look bad. Okay, if you jump up on a different set of rocks, thank you very much, you can get into this little volcanic cave that's kind of cool too, and this place has a ton of boom slimes, which is what we're after. Boom slimes, they explode. And thankfully, there are crystal slimes here too. The crystal slimes and the boom slimes are probably the two most valuable slime plorts here, so that's why I'm collecting a few of them here. You don't need 30 because, well, 30 is kind of outrageous, honestly, to put in one cage. And because it's expensive to make double corrals right now, it's better just to kind of collect like 10 or 15 and then be on your way. The thing to watch out for with the crystal slimes is that they also kind of explode. And when they turn into a boom crystal Largo, they double explode. Yeah, so if you walk over this, you're going to get hurt. So, ow, oh God. That's how you lose half your health trying to demonstrate something. Let's get the heck out of here. The Indigo Quarry is absolutely massive, and there's a huge amount of things to explore around here. But there's only one more thing that I'm actually here for, and that's these cute little guys. Puddle Slimes. Keep one in your boot, and you always stay cool. But it's weird. I don't want to put a Puddle Slime in my boots. The Puddle Slimes are worth a lot, but you have to have a pond to take care of them. So I just grabbed one because I like them and I'm trying to keep my boots cool. And their plorts are worth a lot. But you have to have a separate pond. It's like a corral, but only for Puddle Slimes. With that, I think we can head on back to the base now because, like I said, you don't need more than a few crystal and boom slimes to get started. I mean, we don't even have a new corral yet. I love, though, that when we're going back through this cave, that these phosphor pink Largos, they're still happy. they're not upset. All we had to do was feed them, and they just stayed happy for a long time. That's an important life lesson. Now, unfortunately, both the boom and the crystal plorts are down a little bit right now, but they are worth quite a lot. So I'm going to clean up these corrals real quick, see if I can get a new one so I can put our Largo friends in that. And then we're going to get to stacking some money. No, and while I wasn't watching, well, here's your example of a tar infestation while I wasn't watching. One of the boom slimes accidentally got out, and now they're wiping out all my hard work. Why are you doing this? Well, let it be known, even if you're a veteran rancher, if you're not paying attention, tars can mess you up. What is he? He's trying to take a bite of. Get away from me. Get away. So you can't actually suck these guys up, but because they're like other Largos, you can't actually suck them up all the way, but you can suck them up, and then you can shoot them away. Okay, well, I think that pretty much deals with the infestation. Well, I guess we got our clean corral. And just like that, we've got our new corral, and we've got all of our slimes in there, most of them. Anyways, this is a very interesting start to pick, by the way, because as you can see, the crystal slimes are kind of dangerous to try to actually collect stuff from, and the boom slimes explode. So we're definitely going to want to get some collectors on these, but thankfully we can at least feed them from the outside. Yes, eat the carrots and roll. And like I said, okay, you know what, we're just gonna, you know what, you guys are getting a little crazy here. We're just gonna, before any more totally random tar events occur, we're gonna grab you up here. This is actually why you make a double high wall, so that even if they're angry and spinning and hungry, they can get out from the top. Like I said before, on this little space, you can put pretty much anything, but I would either put another corral or I'd put another garden. Kind of depends on how you want the layout of the original ranch to look, because you've actually got 2 more spots up here. And you've got 2 more spots over here. This is the base ranch, so it's pretty good. And there's a ton more space to investigate. It's kind of pricey, especially right now, so I wouldn't suggest this as an upgrade, but for 1,795 new bucks, you can expand into the overgrowth section, which gives you, I think it gives you 4 or 5 more expansion plots, and you get access to lots of chickens on this side, so this is a good upgrade over here. Then on the other side over here, you've got the grotto. I think this is an expensive one too. Yeah. A dark and spoopy cave that has a bunch of spoopiness in it. No, there's some more plots in there for expansion, and it's actually dark in there, so you can keep phosphor slimes in there, and you don't need a night net. It's pretty nice. And then up over here, questionably one of my favorite expansions is the lab. It allows you to begin your career as an amateur, unlicensed slime scientist. That's me, Brian, a totally legitimate slime scientist. And that's pretty much the tour of the map. Now, if you followed through, then you're probably off to a pretty strong start, and now you can explore huge swaths of the game, and you got a little bit of a setup ranch to come back to. It's a nice way to start things off. Now, as you go along, you've probably seen some of them pop up, but you'll actually get more upgrades as you go along, as you progress with the story, and as you buy more upgrades. So even us just hanging out here, I think the dash boots appeared, and then the tank booster MK2, so you can cram 40 units into your Vac Pack. That's a lot of stuff, man. A small note, I would probably get the jetpack or the dash boots as a first upgrade. It depends on what kind of adventuring you want to do. If you're kind of into pushing the bounds of the actual game and you want to jump up on all these weird platforms and see how high you can actually get in the game, then I would suggest buying the jetpack, or if you just want to get to some weird places. If you're more the impatient type though and you're trying to get things done, the dash boots are super great at reducing the actual amount of stamina it takes to run, because as you can see, at base level you can probably, I don't know what distances are in this game. You could probably sprint for about 20 yards or so before you get tired, which actually seems semi-realistic. Seems a little too realistic. Hopefully this guide helped you get a quick start on the game, and I hope that you pick up the game for free, absolutely, while you can, because there's only one day left to do it. So make sure you grab it before it's gone. If you enjoyed this video or the tips helped you out at all, then please make sure to like and comment on the video. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. As we say here on the ranch, the more ranchers, the merrier. Until next time, this is your host, Trying Brian, signing off. Look at these little tiny chickens, they're so small. I love them. Cheep, cheep, cheep.